Okay, I'm getting my shades. Good morning, everyone. This is BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And it is Wednesday, therefore it is time to talk to our money mindset coach, Miss Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. But before we do that, let me introduce my co-host, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. And I'm Terralina from California Cover-Ups. We're the BizChicks, and today we're going to be talking about your money. So sit back, relax. We've got Caren Fern here, all the way from Toronto, Canada, to get our Island Girl hustle on. So you may need a pencil. I would get my pencil and get ready to take notes, but she's always dropping some kind of fantastic nuggets that you can use to do business better. So without further ado, let me introduce to some and present to others, Miss Caren Fern. You're banging today. She got her new bangs thing in there. It's fantastic.
Hello, everybody. I'm Coach Caren. The reason you're seeing me in shades, and I'm going to take it off in a little bit so you can see my eyes. But the reason I'm wearing my shades is because I want you to know when you go for sales, I don't want you with no shades hiding behind so people can't see your eyes. They need to see your eyes when you talk to them. So I'm ever percent by wearing my shades this morning. Okay. All righty, shades off. And back to serious business. So for the month of April, we are strictly talking sales because for the month of March, we dealt with budget. And for the month of April, we're dealing with sales. And people, this is really incorporating your business. The reason we deal with budget first is so that when you make the sale, you understand where the money goes, where your happiness plan, what happens to your happiness plan. And that's why we're diving into sales, because without sales in your business, you're not in business. And so that's why we're talking sales. I'm Caren Fern, your money mindset coach and the founder of the Money Mindset Academy at Island Girl Hustle. That's what we do, we hustle. And I am going to ask Fran actually to probably put it in Liz's link for Liz, because in case she's still around, she wanted us to pop in today and talk a little about a hustle if she can. So I told her I'll have Fran put the link in.
Okay, so we're going to put the link in for
Liz Elizabeth Green.
Okay, invite her.
Yeah, invite her in her messenger.
Okay.
Yeah, if she's around, she will pop in. Anywho, we talked last week about sales and what it really is, because we want to begin at the beginning. And so we talk about preparation, we talk about prospecting, creating a relationship, and assessing your buyer, uncovering their wants and their needs, right? Because, you know, like there is no point in trying to sell me in shades if I have a shades already. So if you see me with the shades and I'm walking down the road and you're selling shades, I'm not your customer. But if you see the shades sliding off of my nose, you might want to sell me one of those thingies that you put on the shades to keep it in place or to hang it on my neck. Now, that would be a wand that I would want, especially if I am cruising or, you know, I'm just in the Caribbean hanging out. The sun is blistering down on me. You see me with my shade. You see me take it off. You see me pat my nose. You want to sell me one of those so I can hang it on my chest. I'm a customer for you. And that would be like a thing you'd be looking out for. And it's your shade because I have it. I'm mentioning it. So that's how you really tend to what your customer need. Now, the shades, of course, is a simple thing to just see. Sometimes when we deal with services or other things, it's kind of a little more tricky, but our job is to be investigators. And that's how we make our sales. I mean, when you understand being an investigator is part of sales, all right? Okay, so the three things we're covering today is demonstrating your product or your services. If it's in person, and we're dealing mainly with in person these first 2 weeks. So in person, it's great to have you to show it to them. That's why the supermarket have people with those little things that you can go up, taste, and they can talk to you about it. Now, I understand, and I know it's not easy getting in the supermarket. And if you don't have a product for the supermarket, why would you want to be in the supermarket? Doing that. But the supermarket is such a gold mine. Besides in the supermarket, when people are coming out of the supermarket, when they're entering into the supermarket, yes, it is hard, and yes, you might feel funny doing it, just like the tips I gave last week on the mall scenario. But if you're in business, I gotta tell you, no matter how shy you be, you have to learn how to break out like those little chicks from the egg and poke your nose out, because that's gonna enter you into sales. And if you have a product and you haven't yet been to any kind of a sale, craft sale or anything like that, even if you are not ready yet to rent a table, go and participate. Go talk to a vendor. Go hang out with a vendor. Ask them, could I hang with you for like 20 minutes and just to see traffic? Most of them are lonely and will be happy to talk to you because they're busy at points, but there's times when they're not busy and you talk to them. So you can get a feel of it. And that's what people do with a product. If it's a service, nothing wrong with you standing up and still talking to them, because they themselves might need your services. And you don't know until you see them, until you have a conversation with them, right? So that's part of what demonstrating. And I'll get back into it a bit. Number 2 is handling objections. And it should be music to a salesperson's ears. But instead, we duck and hide. When somebody objects to what we have, we are insulted, like, oh, dear, one, but I'm sorry. No, they dare to do it. Objections is fine. And the other part is sometimes you got the sale, but you don't know how to close it. So number 3 is closing the sale. You got to know when to stop talking so you can close the sale. You have to actually ask for it at times. And number 4 is the follow up or follow through, depending on where you are with your client or client to be. This part is so crucial. And although I love to start from the top, I'm going to go with the follow through from a network point of view, just because I talked about networking last week. When you go to a network event, actually, if you have never went to a meetup or a networking event, let me start in the raw. Don't take any cards. Go in and just be there to learn, observe people, and be friendly. That's it. Don't go to sell anything and don't go to hand out your cards. I don't want you to do that. If this is your first meetup, I want you to walk in there with the expectation of just learning all you can. So every person you meet, I like to say it's a new door to an opportunity. Every person that you meet and you're talking to, you're totally and 100% is involved with them. The person in front of you, nobody else. What they do, what is their business, how they get into it, how is this affecting their personal life? And they don't have to give you details, but you just want to know if it brings joy and happiness to them, or it's making them sad, or making them question if that's where they're at. And you will get more of them, because most people are just asking them what you do, what to do, and they're leaving them. But now you're developing this conversation, and then if they're interested to you, you take their card. Don't take it right away after the conversation. On the card, you can ask them a few things, Can I call you after the meetup just for us to chit chat a little further, because I'm interested in what you're talking about. I'm not telling you we'll do business, but maybe it's just for us to see where this leads. Be honest with them so that they're not thinking that when you call them, you're going to buy their stuff, even if you're going to buy it, because they're at a network meetup because they need sales. They need to build relationships. And they also might be as nervous as you are. And you decide, don't get crazy. Look across the room and aim for 6 people. 6, maybe 8, but 6, that's it. You don't need the whole room. You don't need the whole room. Everybody else who talk to you, smile, But the standing and having this sort of conversation, 6 max. You can do 2 or 3. It's okay. You don't need the massive, because later on, once you learn this technique now, and now you understand what happened, your next 2 or 3 networking meetup, I want you to still follow the process. Maybe on your third, you walk with a few cards and only to be given out to the people who ask for it. And I have had people, can I have your card? And I'm so what are you going to do with it? And I usually stop them in their tracks because they're like, shucks, give me this. I'm like, what are you going to do with it? Like, what's the purpose? Either there's something they don't want to do or they get into conversation with you. I was at this paid network, and I love the paid versus the free. I was at this paid network meetup, and when I said that to a lady, and she'd broken her ankle, and I said, what are you doing with my car? And she said, oh, I've been looking for your service. I was advertising my cleaning service at the time. And, as I said, can I call you then? And so we can talk further because you're already packed in here, and we just talk chit-chat about our businesses, but we never talk exactly about her house because at that meetup, it's not where I asked you about your house. I'm going to call you for that conversation. And we called her and she hired us. It wasn't for ongoing, but she hired us. And, we did great business with her. And she used to look after computers at the time. And I was going to do exchange of service, but not bartering, paid for. But, after conversation with me, she did say she knew what she was doing, but she wasn't feeling that clear about if this was the way she wanted to go in business. So sometimes just having that conversation, people get to decide, do I really want to offer this service, or am I just doing it because I know how to fix computers? And that's what she recognized. She knew how to fix computers and she wanted to offer the service, but it wasn't making her heart sing. It wasn't making her feel as happy as I was talking to her about cleaning at the time. She's like, are you happy about cleaning? So that get her juices going. And she was like, you know what? I don't think that's what I want to do anymore. And so she never looked after my computer, but we had stayed in contact a few times until she went back to Vancouver. She wasn't happy here in Toronto. She came from Vancouver and she was here in Toronto, and things didn't work out how she thought it was. The first thing happened, she broke her ankle, and then something else happened to her and she just went back home. Time to go. So the reason I'm tackling that, and I'll still come back to it, is because I want you to understand that going to a network meetup, we were talking about just networking in person, but you need to ask these questions. You need to know, and you need to let them know that you're going to contact them. And so when you contact them now, they might forget you. So you get to say, hello, hi, Linda. We met up at the meetup that was hosted by so-and-so, and you should know who hosted it and the time and the date. Those are things you want for your notebook, so you can take a notebook also if I didn't mention that before. And so you get to say to the person, we met there, we talked about X, Y, and Z to refresh their memory. If it's the kind of person who remembers, they might say yes, they'll remember you, whatever. And you move on from there, you have your discussion. And you talk with them. And again, don't try to sell them anything. It's natural for them to tell you that they want what you have during the conversation or not. Or you can decide, could we check in once a month just to cheer each other on and that sort of thing. You're taking the pressure off of both yourself and them. And I tell you, over time, if you're developing well, those people themselves will probably send you other meetups and invite you to other places and things that they know of, that they're thinking about you. Or I have people actually call me and tell me, I give somebody your number, they'll be calling you. Because I don't need you, but I know somebody that needs your services and that sort of thing. So that's a good way of looking at your networking and how you talk to people, how you get to, because what are we talking about? Sales. I want to get you to the sale, right? And very few things you can just sell. If you think about it, if you have a shop, people just walking by every day. But that person, the shop that does well is the person who continuously markets themselves, not the person who just open the shop and hope somebody walking. I'm sorry, you can't just hope somebody walking. They will, but that's not your sensible market, if you will. All right. So let's talk about, so we get right back. Oh, ladies, any question before I start back up and get into detail?
I have no questions. I'm intrigued.
Okay.
And,
all right.
Yeah.
So number one, I started off talking about demonstrating. And demonstrating your product. When it's a product, it's easier to say, I make this is how I do it. In the online world, it might seem hard, and you're going to get there, and it's not hard either. But on the online world, when I first came on, product seems like the hardest thing to get across to people, quality, because at the time, you don't know how you'll express it to them. That's what stops in our way. It's not like it's hard. when it comes into services now, how do you talk to people? How do you demonstrate your services? Well, there's all sorts of ways, but I'm going to give a couple of examples. So, for example, I met this guy at the mall, and he was networking on his own, and he was giving out little brochures to people, and he would just run up and hand it to you. And then he would just walk away. And it was me and my mom. And I said, come. And his name was Sam. I said, Sam? He said, yes, I'm Sam. I said, so what do you do? And he told me, he said, well, first of all, you don't just slip it in somebody's hand and disappear. You want to say hi, how you doing, and really know if they want your service, because I don't need your service, for example. And so I will probably just take this and put it in the garbage. And I'm sure it costs you anyway from $1 to $5, because I look at the flyer, it's so beautifully done, it's glossy, the pictures are fabulous. And I'm like, so if this is $5 and you give it to 25 people, you come, I'm not even going to tell you, you know how much it will cost you. This is not the way you would want to do sales. And I mean, and I just, you know, you probably might want to hear this. He's like, no, I want to hear it. I'm like, yeah. So you would just give it to somebody. You got to make sure that people want your stuff and really want your stuff, because this is expensive stuff. So I said, why did you give it to me? He said, well, I saw your card. It had a clean sign on it. And I thought, you know, you're going into people's houses. I said, and that's the thing. You don't know who goes into the house. But without this conversation, you just assume that I go and clean people's houses, their offices. You don't know. So you have to have this conversation with me. And we get to talking. We end up talking for about 15 minutes. And, you know, he said, you know, I was just nervous and didn't know what to do. And I thought, I'm just going to come out and hand it to thing. And usually that's what happens when your business is not doing great. You just get yourself out there and you're like, especially if you're a go-getter, you're a hustler, you're like, I'm just going to go get people. But I want to get the right people. And so, you know, with luck would have it, or erase our luck would have it, God always put the people in your path that you need to serve, or vice versa. So I said, yes, that's not what you do. You want to talk to people. You want to let them know what you do. If you are just a sales rep for this company, it's great. But is it your company? Then I get to find it was his company, and it wasn't doing great. You know, they weren't bringing in any money a month over time, and all that sort of stuff was happening. So we had this chat about it. So you would want to talk to people. So if that was the scenario you were demonstrating, now I could ask him questions, and he did ask him on the floor. I could ask him questions, and he must be able to answer those questions. He has to demonstrate to me that he really can provide his services. So if it wasn't your business, and let's say you were sending out a sales rep to do it, you would definitely want to sit down with that sales rep and have that conversation, so that when they go out to talk to people, because anybody who loves sales can sell anything, but they can't sell it well without the education behind it, without the training behind it, because then they wouldn't do a good job. And that's why the people who send people out to sell knives and vacuum and all that sort of stuff really give them training before they come to you, so that when they come, they're hopeful that they demonstrated the best way possible, so the product will look great. And this is no different from your services. So if you're a mortgage broker, you're able to talk to people on a whim about at least 3 points in why they would use your services and how you've helped them. You're still demonstrating, even though it's not something you can hold, it would be through your wordage, through whatever content you have. And for me, as a service provider of different services, if I'm providing either teaching or coaching, then I would tell you at least a couple of things of how to work together as a coach. That's how I would demonstrate myself. And, you know, I really have a lot of resistance to it. I have a lot of, mostly in person, is like a misunderstanding of what a coach, a money coach would help with, and how using me would help them when they have to pay me. And so that would be like, so let's talk about that objection. From my point of view, and I would say that if you went to somebody to do consumer proposal, or you went to file bankruptcy, you still have to pay for it. It's not free. So I am your preventer. When you use me, you're proactive. You're not getting yourself all the way down the road. Now, I am not going to tell you that you mustn't file for bankruptcy or that, because I can't say that without a conversation, obviously. But if you can find a way, it's good for yourself, it's good for your conscience, it's good for so many things. If you don't need it, if it's not a need and it's just a want, so to clear your head so you don't have to worry anymore, because you'll be right back there. It doesn't last long, unless, especially the personal bankruptcy. Not everybody, but most people hear it's an easy out and they're like, yes, I could do this, and then I could start over fresh. But if they haven't learned their lessons, if they didn't get counseling, they're right back there because they haven't learned. They already haven't dealt with the core reason why money, seems to get away from them or not be able to make enough and that sort of thing. So definitely when they object to me of spending to get the help, I have to show them why they would need my help. Why using me as a coach is a great idea. And even if you money, it's not a problem to you in certain areas. The minute we start talking, you start to see some little things within there that even though you mightn't have thought of before, through conversation, you can see how what I'm proposing is helpful to you or for you. And so that's how I handle objection personally. For those who are listening now and listening to the replay, I was wondering, like, what would happen?
I have a question. For some reason, when I'm having a conversation and all I'm hearing is, well, no, I just feel like, okay, so this person doesn't want my services. I feel like I'm trying to convince them that they need my services.
Give me an example.
Okay, so let's say that you're offering a workshop, let's say, because that's a service, okay?
Right.
So you're doing a workshop and you're explaining to them what's going to happen in the workshop, and then they say, I don't really need that. I want this, that, and other. That person, to me, that person is not my customer. Am I to continue to try to convince them that they really want this, even though I know they need it?
Because they're at the wide part of the funnel they need, but they don't want it. And in between our funnel, the wideness, that in between section there's just confusion. There's no clarity. And that's what causing the I don't want it. I don't need it. But so if they want something, if somebody wants something, if somebody can get away with now getting, that's why people like freeness, right? When they hear that something's free, they go after it. In their core, they know they can't get the total package for free. They know this. Core, that nobody is going to sell your house for free. I don't care if they told you, but they ain't selling your house for free. All right? Stop with the foolishness. We have somebody in the street who's trying to do that nonsense. Sell the house on this stupid thing for free. The house stayed forever until they get an agent. It ain't happening. You got to pay the agent money to sell the house. It ain't happening. So deep in our core, we know it. But we have this blockage somewhere between this lot that's telling us that somebody, uncle, boyfriend, something told you that they got this stuff for free. So they're insisting they can get it for free. And so therefore, we hear all the time. I hear people say, groups of people say, why are you asking people so much questions? Anything you want, you can go on YouTube and learn for free. You didn't learn it for free. It is free for you to plug in and watch, but it's your time. It costs you money to watch a YouTube video, and you don't get the full thing. They give you enough to tease you, to search for several other videos, to eventually buy something from them. It's not free. And if you're making $15 an hour and you spend 2 hours looking, you just didn't make $30. It's not free. So the person who, if you've got a workshop, a friend of mine had a workshop too, she wasn't getting anybody in the workshop. And she's like, I know these people need the workshop. I think one of the hardest things that I'm going to say today is we want people we like or know. We want to help them. And the sad news is those people don't need us.
Aren't ready or don't need us.
They don't need us. No. They don't need us. They might need us later, but they don't need us now. We are too close. We're going to tell them the truth. They're not ready to hear it. They just want the fluff. They have to get enough fluff to come back to the deep. They have to get enough fluff to come back to the deep. It is not easy to be a Black coach, and I am not a person to talk about race a lot, but I know it's not easy to be a Black coach, because the things that I am going to help you get over and get to, sorry, you don't ready for it. You don't want me to. You don't want me to. You know, my friend and teacher, when I come online, I took a big program myself. Kimber was talking about it, and she's white. And she said, Karen, straightly, you know, all moms are good moms, but you put a Black woman to take care of your family, and you can sleep well because she's gonna do a blast people job. She's been coaching forever. She's been teaching forever. She's been doing all this stuff with people forever, and still people can't understand that they'll do one of the best jobs ever. They're asking, oh, she can. Yes, she's been doing it. And whatever numbers or letters behind her name is just making you feel good. But this is innate in her. She's been doing it. And so they need, and that's any race across the board, they need the fluff. Let's go back to the generalization now. They need the fluff. So when they get the fluff, when they had enough fluffs, then they'll be able to use you. Because the fluff in their head is not as expensive as the core stuff. And the core stuff requires them to actually do some deep work. And they don't want to do that.
Mm.
So they want to run around, let's talk about the internet, on the internet streets, complaining how many people take their money and how they didn't learn anything and nobody wants to. You went to somebody who's teaching something proper and doing anything. I don't care what wording they put and they got you in. Once they get you in there and they're good at what they do, they're going to give you stuff to do. Because without you doing this stuff, you can't get anywhere. And they're not taking the workshop, or they wouldn't come for something, or I have to let a client go or two because I recognize they don't want to do the work. They expect the magic without doing the work.
Oh.
Although the evidence is there, Michael Jordan, Magic, you know, Johnson, Tiger Woods, everybody that we admire and love and wish we could do, those people did the work. And you think, and those two people that did the work still needed a coach, right? Those people do the work and still need a coach because you can't see a blind spot. So they need a coach. They need people who are going to be honest with you. A coach is not there to just hug you up and tell you everything's okay. She's there to ruffle your feathers, to make you question things that you might think of questioning because it looks insignificant, and it's not. It's going to get you to this next place that you don't want to visit yet, because until you die, God is going to bring you around, circle you around until you die. If you don't do something, you'll be staying in that same spot, not doing it. So when somebody said, I don't need the workshop, when you know that they need the workshop, your job is to not convince them to buy from you to answer the question, but rather find out what exactly they are wanting. Let them tell you in their words what they're wanting. Now, if your services can loop around and serve that, then you're not pushing them to get it, because now they're coming easier. That's how you sell to that client. So you don't feel like you're running behind them, but you're serving up their wants. You're not giving them the needs. It's like I used to dance, and we had this dance teacher, and I think I talked about her a couple of times, with Barrow. She couldn't dance, but she went to school and learned to dance in the night and taught us in the day. And so she really wanted us to win. But yet when she brought like ballroom dance and Indian dance in, there were kids who didn't do much. They just would not go home and practice. And she was that kind of person like me. So within a couple of months, we were down. We started having 25 kids. We were down to 15 or 16 of us, and only eight of us get to actually perform with a group of 12 kids. That's it. If you couldn't show up every Friday, practice every 3 days a week, when we actually dance and show up 5 days a week, this is free stuff, again, but not practice. And she knew if you didn't practice, you can stay in, but you didn't get to go showcase. And I mean, most of us are dancing so that we can get on stage. That's our purpose, right? Mm-hmm. Especially, I wanted to dance. I wanted to dance any dance that she allowed me to, modern, Indian, and ballroom. I'm very excited for that. And so when we got there, you know, only 8 of us got to dance. And she wasn't kidding. We all got costumes. We were waiting. We were ready. And we got there. And she says, there's only 8 people going to be dancing today. And she she gave you your name tag, who's going to be dancing. And that was that. And the people learned that if you want to be there, you actually have to perform. And I'm right back to that. Selling is a performance. Getting your house together is a performance. And then when you get the performance, when the person put in their heart and soul and give it to you, and you go away. Could you imagine, Terry, if that person was to actually take the class with saying nothing, and then they went home, they're like, oh my God, this is what she wanted me to do. Ain't happening. No, not doing it. So you're putting into someone with a bucket with no bottom. Like the whole bottom is cut out like a basketball, and that's got a bucket, and it's just falling through. They're not doing anything. So unless you're giving them what they want, and your surface can look around and do so. If it can, it's done. If it can, it needs to look around and just give them the want until they're ready for what they need.
So give them what they want until they're ready for what they need.
Yes. And it's hard to watch them. It's hard to watch them. Just circle around and around and around, getting just the fluff, just enough, nothing more.
I'm writing this down.
So that's good because that's part in handling the objections, right? Yeah. Understanding how to handle the objection, that's part of understanding how to handle the objections, not to take it personally, to understand they're not in that clear path where you have reached. They are still confused in so many aspects, whether it's 3/4% personally and just 1/4 into the business. Saying I want to be in business is so different from actually wanting to be in business. And so some people are saying, but they really don't, and truly don't want to be in business. They truly doesn't want to be in business, but they're not brave enough yet to say, all I want is a job. This is not for me. I like the idea, I like the concept, but I don't want to be in business. And it's hard for me to stay here initially. And I was really upset with the person who said it to me, and I was sad for a long time when it was me. But I have to let them live their truth and understand what they want to do. And if I can see the world in them, I have to just, that's where we're at. And so, and anybody's closest to us, it's harder for them, especially when we get to know them and see their potential. Let us do it. But the strangers, the people you don't know, those are the people you serve the best.
True. That's
and so
true.
When we talk about, like and trust factor, it doesn't mean we have to wrap them up as bosom friends. That's something we really need to know, because we're very good at, we're just deep in the feeling of people. That's what we're very invested. And so whether we understand it or not, whether we seem like we're cold or we don't, we're very invested in ways that we can't even explain that we are when we start getting this known like and trust factor. And you can have all of that and still be able to keep them at a distance until you can bring them closer to you, because it really helps you in how you sell to them and how you interact with them and all that sort of stuff. That's why that's important.
Wow. See, that's why you need a money mindset coach, because this is not the stuff you would have gotten in a regular sales course.
And number 3 is closing. And this part could be a little tricky and hard. And if you're not sure, you ask the person if they're done talking. Sometimes you just need to ask them if it's a person who is a runner-honor. It's not a word I call it. The runner-honor. It's not a word. It's a make-up word. Because they're going on and on and on and on, and they really want to buy it. They want to explain to you why they want to buy it. Who's going to object because they buy it. If you want to know, so you can wrap up the similar conversation and continue. So, if somebody came to get something to be done to me years ago when I started my alteration, I started doing that, and they wanted a pants hem, and the conversation with them is longer than him in the pants. And when I finally get myself around to, understanding my cycle, I'd say, well, listen, are you going to get the pants hem or not? I love you, but are you going to get the pants hem or not? And if you are going to get the pants hem, this is the price, or you can take it back and think about it, and then I review. And you should be like, no, I'm here already, so just take it. But if we're having a conversation, we're having a conversation. But if we're back and forth, I either want you to decide, and then we can talk, or you move on with it. So that's a simple pants. But like in my coaching practice, and again, I have to learn that over time. I need to find out from the person if you can financially afford me. This is a difficult thing to ask me when you're now starting. This is a difficult thing for you inside of you to say, could I charge the money I'm charging? This is you questioning yourself, am I truly giving them all I can for them, because for that specific person? And all those questions you have to ask yourself and answer. And don't lie about it. If you can't, you can't, right? And when I do that, I'm able to close comfortably because I know what I'm doing. It's A, tested and proven. B, if you do the work, you're going to see the result. Yep, you got to do work, and some things take longer than others, right? Do the work. And so you actually, in closing, A, have to ask for the sale. Be confident in what you're selling. And the result is only guaranteed if the person do the work. They got to do the work. If it's services, if it's product, then whatever you say it's going to do. And people should already know by now, it's person by person. So, if Terry's selling Terry cover-ups and you've got to come back, sorry people who have to come back. But, the cover-up is going to go up a little further than the back because of how you shape the back. That's not Carolina's fault. It's just how you shape. She's not condemning you. She's not pointing that out, but she's aware of that. If this is a problem, then Terry would need to say, well, you need to get them custom made, because then she'll be able to talk to them about it. And this was not a discussion about how bad your back is bent, but it's just that we see this and she needs to address it. It's like if she was sewing skirts, or, I used to sew skirts for a lady, and specifically because she's had a big bum. And that's why I used to custom knit all her skirts and for church and stuff, because everything she bought would be up in the air. So I would sew them for her, and I would always give her, she needed 2 to 4 inches longer at the back. And so if you see her skirts, it's like, it's not even, but when she puts it on, it just evens out. And so I made all her skirts before she go to Florida. She loves skirts. She's a regular customer. And she's like those kind of perfect customers. She's like, I'm a skirt. And I told her, she's like, I got a little problem. We talk about what the difference would be. That was that. And here's the thing, they got some people, you tell them the price today, and then when they come back next week, they want the price, and then next week, they're trying to see if you're going to charge them less. I had a client like that. I said, listen, it's $65, and it's $65. If you bring me thread, if you bring me zipper, and you bring me the fabric, it's $65. If you bring me thread and zipper, it's $65. The fabric is, you have to bring your fabric because you might like what I like. It's $65 for my workmanship.
Yes.
Period. It's not because you bring me a zipper. A zipper is 25 cents. It doesn't cut that into price.
I think that's a good point to make too, because people think if they haven't sorted all of that out in their own minds, then they start waffling instead of sticking to what they decided to do.
Yes, and so all those issues, all those little tiny issues come up in the closing. And if you're not confident in your product and your service and what you offer and all that other stuff, you start questioning yourself when they start weaving. And that's why you have to have a firm grip and over time give yourself answers, see things that keep coming back to you, and answer the questions before they ask about you, so that it's an easier process in closing. And you don't feel like you're stumbling over yourself, because people just take advantage over those parts.
Well, I don't, excuse me, I don't feel like I'm stumbling. I think what I feel a concern for is that I had no empathy, and that I was very clear about what the services were going to be and what we were offering. And if it wasn't a fit, I was okay with that. And I'm wondering, is there something wrong with me because I slept well? I mean,
do you sleep well?
Because my thing is, everybody's not our customer.
Nope, that's
if
true.
That person is already resistant, they're not going to do the work, which is going to reflect on our reputation because we're going to have success.
I agree. And that's why I said only if the one you can help with and you believe that only if it's the help, you know that you can loop them around. It's not like you're trying or struggling. It has to be that you have a one that they can come in with. You know, they got some people who needed to just come in. Didn't need any other help, but just when I was doing the budget strategist, just to come in and just get their budget working. They didn't need anything else. They didn't want anything else. They just come in and make sure their budget was right, pay their dollars and leave. They have those people, Jay, right? You're not going to get them as a customer again. Even if they're struggling, they ain't not coming back. Oh, man. And then the follow up or the follow through. So if you made the sale, you want to follow up and thank them for, you know, allowing you to service them, or if it's a product, that sort of thing. And how else you can service them in the future, and also a referral. Follow up help you to ask for a referral, right? If they're saying they love your service and all that, you can ask for a referral. Oh, can't talk today. And for the closing, if there's if you close but you feel like some questions weren't answered, or they're taking more than 48 hours to get back to you, you can say you want, if they want to clarify anything, you know, if they didn't answer all their questions, so you can follow up on that note. And the third thing is, if they didn't buy it all, you can also survey them to find out why they didn't buy it. Because not every buyer, every person you reach out to, sometimes not necessarily that they don't want to work with you, but maybe you haven't asked the right questions, or at the moment in time, they weren't certain how they would do this. And so it's okay to ask those questions and let them tell you, no, I don't want to buy, it's not what I wanted to do. And then you know that they're either, if you have your cycle set up, that in 3 months you reach out to them. So then you say to them, could I reach out to you in the next, 90 days? Some will say yes, some will say no, this is the end. And some people say yes. And you want to have all those things set up in your sales cycle, and however you keep track, because you got to keep track to know of that sort of thing. And then you reach out to them again, because some sales are not dead right away. And small business owners, sometimes we tend to think that way, and people just forget, just get busy. This could be anything. But we also feel it in our bones when it's people who's not going to work with us. Wow. Stop beating that dead horse. I want to say that. I don't want to leave that up. There are some horses that die. Coming alive again.
Okay. Wow.
They're not getting back up. So let's cross those off and move along.
But this is some really good information. Ask for the sale, be confident in what you are selling.
Mm-hmm. Hey, for sure.
I'm learning a lot here. This is really good. No waffling.
No. Can't have you're jumping in or you're jumping out.
Well, no. If you're waffling on your prices, that information is shared with others. And like, girl, you can negotiate with her. You can just hold out. She'll change.
You know. You only have to do it for one person, that they can't hold it. They have to tell,
if they got a bargain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They must spread the word if they get a bargain. Even though I'm sure the person said, this is for you, this is who I'm doing it for, they just can't help themselves. So they can't do anything about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I like the fact that some horses do die, and some, you need to shoot because they're women.
I like that one too.
I'm just saying, some horses you just got to shoot because they're damaged.
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. Mm-hmm. So, this this month we are talking sales, and this is week 2, and we just cover those really crucial parts. Next week I'm going to be talking a lot about online. Online is so much. I'm just going to go a little hint here. I didn't set it up yet, so not the wordage or what we're going to do, but it's just makes you feel impersonal. And if you're a touchy-feely kind of a seller, it's kind of hard with online because it could feel cold, because if you're texting or messaging, you know, it could be that way. That's why it's nice to be able to get people like this on Zoom or however you can do it. And even if it's 5 minutes, you have a conversation with them about what they do or what you do, and know your outcome. You know, in every sale, every part of your sales cycle, know your outcome. Know if this is for learning, know if this is for selling, and don't be afraid. Don't worry people talking about 6-figure, 7-figure, and any other thing. You know your number. You know what you need to make every week, every month. Know your number and strive to get to that number. I really want to say this: strive to get to your number. And the way you get to your number is understanding your sales cycle. So if all month you were listening to us and you didn't make a dime, what are you doing? Because I'm only here every Wednesday. So you've got 4 of the days of the week. Matter of fact, we have 5, because most of us work 6 days for ourselves. You know, if that's what you set aside, and if this is not full-time and it's part-time, and you're putting in 2 hours, are you really putting in 2 hours, or are you putting in 15 minutes and the other an hour and 3/4, you'd be scrolling Facebook streets, Twitter, Instagram, and anything else, but you didn't do the work? Because if you didn't, then you really weren't looking after your sale portion of business. And you guys remember I talked about that in Fire Talk, and I'll probably bring it back at some point where I talk about, you know, you knowing what days of the week and what you do with your time in your business to make it be fruitful for you. So coming here and understanding budgeting, coming here and understanding how to sell without applying it, you're not going to sell. Because you still have to sell. We're not selling for you unless you want to hire us as your sales. Right.
So yes. So are you saying that we have to have a schedule for what we do every day in our business?
Yes. So you can actually come into work because it's your job until you can put somebody in your seat. I still have a job because I don't put anybody in my seat, at least in this specific business. I don't put anybody in the seat. The other one is my full business because there's people in those seats. In this business, I am the go-to. I am the girl to go to. So therefore, I have a job. I have to schedule the days I'm going to have coaching clients and I'm going to coach, and the days when my school reopen when I'm going to teach, like the face-to-face. And those are the days I'm doing office work, I'm preparing the content, I am socializing, I am doing all the other things that my business needs to continue surviving and thriving, because I don't want it to only survive. But, you know, people say, just thrive. Forget that. I'm telling you, you got to survive and then thrive. You have to survive. If you don't pass the surviving phase, you're not going to thrive. Because if you did a launch, like I said, you did a launch, right? And you were doing, so let's talk sales cycle a little bit. You were doing where, you know, you're prospecting, you got people come through the funnel, you give them something, you talk to them, you feed them along, and then you had this great lunch, and let's say you made $125,000, right? And you're like happy. This is the human body. This is not for a Pacific. When you make that money, you feel great. Wonderful. What happens? Here's what happens to the human body. Unless you have yourself set up, you think you can sleep in. You don't need to exercise. I got a trainer. You forget when you're supposed to eat and you start slacking. There's people who have programs out there that is not showing them who they're angry or not showing up how they expected them to, because they got paid. You can't now slack up. Like, this is when the heat is on. You gotta be there. You gotta motivate the people. You have to get them going. You have to make them want to do the work they paid you to do. So your job is still building content, but that's why, you know, we always hear money is the root of all evil, because it makes you somehow feel like you don't have to do these other things. This is a human thing. But here's the counteractor, if you had your days set up, your week set up, you know what's coming next. Even if you didn't write all the content, you just have to get yourself there and do it. And do the work. You're scheduling your holidays, so it's scheduled around. You tell your people, after the first 6 weeks, we're going to be doing a 2 weeks break. It's going to allow you to catch up on your product. It's going whatever you're doing, it's going to help you to do X, Y, and Z because I'm going to be away. But my VA, or I'm going to give you all this stuff to work on, and when I come back, we refresh, I'll give you back the 2 weeks. That sort of things you do because you had it set up and built in on time. You can't just do it because you're here, you make a lot of money, and then you're like, oh, crap, what am I supposed to do? And people going to talk. If 100 people are quiet, 25 of them is going to talk. Let's say you have 25, right? So it's just a feeling, just a caution of, no, I'm not taking out to get sales because I didn't get it sales. I lost an hustle. But I'm telling you, once you get that stuff going and you start flowing, sometimes you just get a little slack and you fall down, or you want to go to a whole bunch of seminars and you're taking out pictures and showing people and you're doing this and that and all kind of craziness. But how is it helping the people that just paid you some money? And then you hear people whisper on the internet street, you know, this person was so good and now they're with the big guys and they don't want to look after me. And it's not because you mustn't grow and do those things. It's just that you still have to look after the people who pay you. Because those people probably come back and buy something from you. Or get you one-on-one later. Or help you, or you help them launch something. Because one of the greatest things, you know, to a coach or any business strategy, well, not consultant so much, but a business strategist or a coach, we want to see whoever we coach do great. We want to tell people how great they did and how we help them and how they do this. So maybe you are going to help them with their program because they hire you for that, right? So now they went through a program with you and they're doing great, and they're missing the different pieces in between their setup. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. And so they set up, you know, themselves, but they might be missing these little pieces in here. And you will be able to guide them through these other areas, you know, because you're actually looking after the people who paid you the money. It's great to talk about sales, and I love this subject because that's the bloodline of our business. But I always like to, not to daunt your spirit, but just to make sure I'm covering the reality.
Oh, you mean after the sale? Yeah, yes. Because you know, you got the sale, you attracted them, you've engaged with them, and then you got the sale. Now you have to execute on what you promised.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that scares people, you know, that freaks people out, you know.
Oh, wait, I got to do the work now?
You got to go in there and create this stuff. Because, I mean, when I first come on the internet, everybody said, just sell something, and then once they buy it, then go do the work and give it to them. And I'm not saying it's not a bad strategy. I'm just saying you have to be the kind of person that would go do the work.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person who like to, even if I just prep a semester, because the truth is, what I'm teaching, I know what I'm teaching. So I don't understand why I wouldn't want to prep it with this. I'm not trying to go online and copy something to teach. Like, I'm teaching stuff that works. Even if I have to tweak it, I'm still teaching stuff that works. The core is stuff that works, that get you off the ground. The hardest part is a lot of entrepreneurs are not business people. A lot of people who have, who's selling something is not business. And so if you're not a business person, but you're selling something, you're just selling something. Okay. As last week I stated, when you become a business, when you decide to be a business owner, when you decide to take your side hustle and make it a full-time hustle, you actually do things differently. You say, I start my business on the 11th of April, 2018. And in 3 months, I want to acquire this. In 6 months, this. In 9 months, this. And in a year, this. And you go through all the process getting you to the year. So when you celebrate your anniversary, if your job in this business that you created was supposed to pay you $10,000 a month, you would have had packages and services set up that could pay you $10,000 a month. And even if it didn't pay you right away, that would be the ultimate goal. That would be the kind of business plan we'll set up. I hate business plans who just telling me how much money I can borrow and all the statistic, but it's not really giving me the life what I need to live with. Business plans are like a vision board. If you hide it away, that's where it tucked away. That's what people business plan is. Your business plan should be front and center on kind of a board, something behind you, something. That's why I love the 3-page, so that you can scan it and look in and say to yourself, hey, I'm in 6 months in. I haven't done this, and that. I said in 6 months I'm going to get a coach, and I put all the steps to get me to a coach, but I can't afford a coach because I haven't put in the work to do this, and this. Or I wanted a social media manager eventually, and I wanted to hire her in 9 months, but there's no way I can hire her because I didn't get this set up to hire her. And I need to get those things in place to hire her. So next year, this time, I'm still without a social media manager. I'm still without a coach. I'm still without, the right way to do my sales. I'm still without all these things. But here I am in business for a year. But if you're just selling something, then you just sell it. You're selling a glass, you're selling things around the house. You just sell it. But if you're a business, you want to know where you start, so that you can celebrate yearly, so that eventually you'll get your operation manual in place. You'll have these things in place that you can literally give to somebody, so you can leave and go away and say, if this happened, this is what you do. If that happened, this is what you do. And this happened, you definitely don't call me, because I'm not a hard donkey. I don't do that. Whatever that is. But it's in there. It's in your manual, it's in your operation manual. It really helps you too.
Wow.
What you do?
Wow.
Am I hurting your head, Terry? Okay. Good. You're good. Okay.
We have a reality check.
Well, I tell you what. Oh my goodness. This was really profound.
Mm-hmm.
So we are,
oh
my gosh.
I'm so excited to teach it. I tell you.
It's enlightening, I tell you that.
Yeah, it was very enlightening. So I'm going to encourage everybody who's watching this live. Thank you for doing so. People who are watching on the replay, thank you for doing so. You might want to go through this again, get your pen and pencil out, take some notes, and then apply what you have learned.
Yes, apply it. That's how you see results. You have to apply it. It doesn't work without applying it. You definitely have to apply it.
Yes. So we want to say thank you for tuning in. Coach Caren will be back next week. We're going to continue on sales.
Yes, we're
I need to absorb. And we want to hear about your sales story. Tell us what happened. I implemented this and this is what happened. We want to hear your success story. So
yes, we want to hear it. That's why I wanted Liz to come on, but I guess she's not around there. But I probably should have sent it earlier. I was busy doing some other stuff. But this whole thing before I go, Liz wanted to come to talk about her little side hustle that she finally listened, and she wanted to come on to talk about a result, but I told her we'll be here all month. So if she wasn't able to share today, hopefully we'll get her in next time around, so
yes,
she can tell about her hustle and what she did and how things turned out. So
good.
Once you put in the work, you see the difference. So I was so happy to be here. So,
yes,
guys, this stuff works. You just have to work. It works, and I'm excited. All month we're here talking sales, putting dollars in your pocket. If you follow through the work, yes, these are just masterclasses, and I teach them like this. If you want anything more deep, of course, you have to hire me for it. Your girl, I just tell you as it is. That's what I do. But take this stuff and put it in cash. And thank you, friend Terry, for just giving me this platform to come and share what I love to do.
Well, we appreciate it so very much. And we want to say thank you. So this will be on a podcast pretty soon. You can also watch it over on YouTube. So everybody watching live on YouTube, thank you. On Google Plus, Twitter, wherever you're watching this, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see you tomorrow, where we're going to be talking about your health and wealthness.
There you go.
Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to go to the front of your own line, guys.
There we go. Bye-bye.
Thank you again, Coach.